Ciao a tutti e bentornato to the new episode of This is Calcio. Calcio, specifically Serie A, made a return to the stadiums and the TV screens and wherever you're watching from last weekend. And the opening game, we saw the champion of Serie B up against champion of Serie A, Frosinone up against Napoli. Well, Napoli, as we know, last season they won the Scudetto, but also the coach, Luciano Spalletti, he decided to take a break, take a sabbatical, but it was a very short-lived sabbatical as the FIGC has hired him as the coach of the Nazionale, the Italy national team. Well, to be fair, he can still have more rest as you see his house in Toscana is just about 50 minutes drive away from Coverciano, which is the national team's training center. So, Frosinone, champion of Serie B, promoted to the Serie A, and first game is against Napoli. But who would have thought that Frosinone would actually take the lead in less than 10 minutes? But I think parity was this restored. Matteo Politano equalized, and then last season's capocannoniere Victor Osimhen scored a brace to give the champions all 3 points. And then we have Empoli up against Hellas Verona. Hellas Verona last season was 18th after match week 38. They share the same points with Spezia, but because of new rules introduced last season, Verona had to face Spezia in a playoff match to determine who is going to go down, and in the end it was Spezia who was relegated to the Serie B. And actually, Empoli finished 13 points above relegation zone. So I'm quite surprised that they actually lost to Hellas Verona in the opening match. And then we have my favorite team, of course, La Viola, Fiorentina up against another promoted team, Genoa, with a new signing, Retegui, who, as you know, was an Argentine national player. Mancini, the former Nazionale coach, persuaded him to change to play for Italy instead because he actually has Italian ancestry. But Fiorentina gave a rude welcome back to Serie A to Genoa and went out 4-1 winners, 3-0 in the first half. And then we have Inter beating Monza 2-0 with both goals coming from Lautaro Martinez, who else, his strike partner has always been changing season after season. Last season was Lukaku, but Lautaro Martinez always delivers, even though there will be a stretch of games that he will not be scoring. But once that dry spell is over, he will keep banging in that goals. And then we go to Emilia-Romagna, where Sassuolo, who last season lost a few of their players, including Giacomo Raspadori, who went to Napoli and won the Scudetto, and Gianluca Scamacca, who didn't get as much playing time as we'd hoped at West Ham. And they go up against Atalanta. Atalanta under Gasperini has been really good over the past few years, many years in fact. And Atalanta just recently lost Rasmus Højlund to Manchester United. I think that was a bit of a con job from Atalanta. To be honest, he doesn't cost that much, and his goals last season were against like the bottom half of the table teams. Yeah, and Atalanta won that one 2-0 easily with new midfielder, a loan from Milan, Charles De Ketelare, who in 38 matches last season with Milan, couldn't get a single goal. But in his first match in Atalanta colours, he scored a goal. So actually, there's a good player hiding somewhere inside CDK. Maybe just not at Milan. And then we move on to the capital with Roma up against Salernitana. And Roma are still finding a new striker because Tammy Abraham has been playing lots of matches last season. I think the majority of the Roma's matches in the Serie A, in the Coppa Italia, in the Europa League, it was all Tammy Abraham. But they also have Andrea Belotti last season, but Andrea Belotti didn't score at all last season. But and lo and behold, in his first game this season, Belotti scored too. But Roma actually took the lead against Salernitana with Andrea Belotti scoring his first goal in 2 seasons. But Antonio Candreva equalized with a banger and then put Salernitana into the lead with another golazo. But in the end, Roma got the share of the spoils as Belotti scored his second goal in 2 seasons. 2 goals in 1 game is probably too much. So expect him not scoring. So expect him not to score again next week or the week after, or maybe until after the international break. And last season, second place team Lazio fell short in the first day of the season up against Lecce. Ciro Immobile, who hasn't been scoring so much last season because of injuries, of course you'd expect him to score this season, and he duly did. So he got Lazio's goal, but Lecce equalized and got the lead in the last 5 minutes of the game. Amazing. And the third team who scored 3 goals or more in the opening match was Juventus in the Battle of the Zebras. Udinese up against the old lady, La Vecchia Signora. 3 goals in the first half. I think it was Chiesa who opened the scoring, and then Dusan Vlahovic, who was linked to a move to Chelsea in an alleged swap for Lukaku, but that didn't happen. So he got to start in this match, and he actually assisted Chiesa's opening goal, and also Juventus got a penalty, and Dusan Vlahovic tucked it away. Third goal, Adrien Rabiot, I believe. And then it was all Juventus. Some people are claiming, after the game, some people were claiming that Max Allegri should be the coach of the Nazionale. But we'll see how the season goes with Juventus. But I think they had a really good start. 3 goals. We've not really seen Juventus scored 3 goals or more last season. Not that much anyway. And also not conceding. We are used to seeing Allegri ball, the boring 1-0 wins or eking out a draw. Yeah, but this looks like a rejuvenated Juventus, and with no European distractions this season because they were banned by UEFA. And so I would think that they will probably be a force to be reckoned with in the Coppa Italia as well as the Serie A. Cagliari returned to the Serie A after 1 season away, with Tinkerman Claudio Ranieri returning to the club late last season, and in the end brought them promotion as well. So they fought to a 0-0 draw against Torino, which was surprising. It was surprise. And of course, the last match of the game, Milan up against Bologna. Milan, as you know, sold Sandro Tonali to Newcastle. Everybody was so against that idea, but I think Milan invested that money from the Tonali sale really well into the transfer market. They got Christian Pulisic from Chelsea, the LeBron James of soccer, and Captain America for only 20 million euros. And they got Yunus Musa from Valencia, as well as Tijani Reinders from Alkmaar. And of course, Milan's top scorer last season couldn't stop scoring. This season, I think he'll go on a run again. Olivier Giroud scored the opening goal, and of course, Christian Pulisic in his Serie A debut scored the second goal for Milan. I think Tijani Reinders and Pulisic are adapting really well to Calcio. I think it was Reinders who provided the assist to Giroud in the opening goal, and Pulisic, what an amazing goal that was. I can't wait for next weekend. I think we have so many players to watch out for, especially for myself. In Fiorentina, we have Primavera graduate Michael Kayode at right back. Was a surprise to us all that Vincenzo Italiano actually put his name as a starter at right back instead of Dodo, maybe because of the midweek Conference League qualifier match against Rapid Vienna. So I think Kayode did really, really well. Of course, he won the Euros with the under-19 Italy national team, and also the past few seasons has won the Coppa Italia Primavera, as well as a few Supercoppa Italiana Primavera with the Primavera team. And he's been given the opportunity to play in the senior team. I think he did really, really well against Genoa. And also we have a new signing, Lucas Beltran, the Argentine from River Plate. Exciting young striker from Argentina. When have I heard that before? But of course, I'm looking forward to match week 2 of the Serie A matches, but of course there's a midweek match for Fiorentina. Go to Austria to face Rapid Vienna for the Conference League qualifiers. By the time this video is out, I will probably have known the score, and I hope it's gonna be a win for La Viola. But I have to say this, Bein Sports, why no Conference League qualifiers on your channels, on your Bein Sports Connect? Come on, Bein Sports, please screen all Conference League matches. I mean, you don't have to screen all of them, just maybe the teams from the top 5 leagues, like Aston Villa, Fiorentina, Eintracht Frankfurt, Lille, and Osasuna. Yeah, so please, Bein Sports. I've been sticking with you for so many years because I don't watch the EPL. And yeah, of course, this weekend's matches, it's another interesting one. We have Frosinone up against Atalanta, Monza up against Empoli, Milan up against Torino, and Hellas Verona up against Roma, while Fiorentina will face Lecce, Juventus up against Bologna, Lazio will face promoted team Genoa, Napoli up against Sassuolo. And the last 2 matches on Tuesday morning, Salernitana up against Udinese and Cagliari up against Inter. We're going to see whether Fiorentina's result against Genoa is the real thing, or is it just a fluke, as they're going to meet Lecce at home. And also Lecce, because they beat Lazio, whether that was a fluke or not in the previous match. So I think that's all for now. Thank you for watching. Ciao.